How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new update video for today, guys, about Pokemon, any leaks, rumors, and stuff like that. So let's get started right off the bat. First things first, guys, we have a leaker who's currently teasing a Nintendo Direct for next week. So this is the first thing I'm going to talk about, but we'll also have some stuff in regards to 4chan and some stuff when it comes to Pokemon as well. So let's start with this first, though. Leakers teased Nintendo Direct for next week. February 1st, 2024 is when this was posted by Sicker over on MyNintendoNews.com. They said that two video game leakers have stated there's a Nintendo Direct presentation planned for next week. So this will be the coming week of February, so that's between the 5th and the 9th, anywhere in between that time frame is when they're, I guess, suggesting it. Now, the first is Special, I don't even know how to say this person's name, Nick, who stated it on the Nintendo Prime YouTube channel. And the second is a reliable leaker, Bill Kun, who posted a cryptic message on social media platform X. Nintendo generally holds a Direct in February, so yeah, it's not that crazy, so it wouldn't be too surprising. As to what it will contain, well, that'll stay as a surprise unless someone spills the bean. Nintendo hasn't mentioned a Nintendo Direct, so we'll have to wait and see what transpires, on that front. In terms of where this was from, this is one of the sources. It's actually a literal video here from Nintendo Prime, where they say it in this video. They mention it. So yeah, they just bring it up here, and then the other source, if we go back here, is listed right here as the second one over on Twitter, and it's from this individual, and I might as well give him a follow, I guess, in this case, because this fella knows information. So he says, looking forward to an indie game of my favorite genre. My credit card will be charged less than 15 days, so I can play it directly and without waiting, and it may be announced during one of those upcoming two events. Which is interesting that he brings that up like that. It's a weird and interesting way. The two's upcoming events, which it's a bit of a weird way to put it, because I wonder about two upcoming events. Is it indie Nintendo Direct and a regular Nintendo Direct? I guess you could say that might be what he's hinting at here, but also, again, the possibility of a, let's put it like this, the possibility of a Nintendo Direct in February, not that crazy. It's not that out of the blue that they would do that. It's not that crazy or insane to believe. Some people, like, for example, Jay thought, is this about the state of play, which already happened? That's like PlayStation's version of a Nintendo Direct. As for what we can expect in a Nintendo Direct, I know Pokemon doesn't usually happen much in Nintendo Directs, but sometimes recently they have been including a lot of Pokemon stuff in the Nintendo Directs. I think they actually showed for the most recent DLC stuff we had, right, for last year, when there was a Nintendo Direct. That's where we got our update for Pokemon instead of doing a separate Pokemon Presents. Because remember, Pokemon used to do all their stuff together with Nintendo. Then somewhere around like 2014 or something like that, they stopped doing that and they started doing their own Pokemon Directs. And then they stopped doing Pokemon Directs and they rebranded them to Pokemon Presents, right? That's what they changed them into. So again, it's not too out of the blue or too hard to believe or imagine that they would be willing to just totally drop that monocle and, go back to what it used to be. Again, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I mean, it is what it is. That's pretty much where I'm going to leave that one. I don't really know what else to say about it, but in terms of what we could expect, guys, well, just expect a potential Nintendo Direct update, and it may not feature Pokemon, keep in mind, because Pokemon will have its Pokemon Day on the 27th of this month, right? That's only 3 weeks away, so it's not really that long now left, guys, right? We only have about, 24 days left until then. So it's not like a long period left until then, but it's at the end of the day, you have to remember there is still a chance there might be some Pokemon stuff. So I thought I'd bring that up. But that's still just one small thing. Now let's move over to the next subject, which is going to be some rumors. Now, this was a post over on 4chan that I thought we'd take a look at, and I thought would be an interesting one to cover. So basically, this person shared this a while back, actually. It's an old rumor, but it's a very long one, okay? It's a very long rumor. So please sit back, grab yourself a beverage, and let's listen and walk through this. So starting things off, they say, one from now, the Pokemon Company is set to reveal their new games. They go as follows, right? No Generation 10. That kind of makes sense, right? I don't think a Gen 10 would make any sense right now anyways. Like, Generation 10 should be coming out after a 3-year, period of Generation 9. And Gen 9 is currently in its 3rd year. This is the last year, I guess, this is the 2nd year of it, because the 1st year of that game was last year, right? Because how old is, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet right now? It came out in, 2021? The end of 2021, November, and then it had a whole year of 2022 last year. Of 2022, the year after. Or am I doing the wrong math here? I think I'm being dumb. No, it was 2022 that it came out. Sorry, it came out in 2022, right? So I had a whole year of 20. You had like the whole year of 2023, and then the next year, by the end of next year, I think it should be coming out. Again, I'm getting the dates wrong here, but usually Pokemon games run on 3-year cycles. So Generation 10 should be coming out next year in 2025. Like, that's the logical time frame for it to actually release, like, just logically speaking. But again, I could be totally off base here. I don't really know. Moving on, though. They say Pokemon White Gold and Black Silver Holiday 2024. Ooh, okay, so would that be a combination? I guess they will explain it here, but apparently it's a combination of Pokemon Gold and Silver and then Pokemon Black and White. That would actually be such a cool concept if they mixed together those two. But what it says is, sequel to both Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Now, this is first in a series of games, okay? A 2D classic Pokemon in the style of Black and White 2. That is weird. First in a series of games, 2D style classic Pokemon in the style of Black and White 2. That is weird. You start off as a Blueberry Academy student heading to Johto on an exchange program, okay? Johto looks very similar to before. The region will have few old gym leaders and a few returning ones. Main story ends with you facing off against the new league, and after having faced off against Lugia, Ho and Lugia, the league members including Karen, Dark, Will, Psychic, then Cliff, Ground, and Cerise, Fire, and I can't really see what the other one here says. The champion, I guess in this case, would be Jasmine, which is a Steel type user, which kind of expected. Continuing. After finishing Johto, you will go on to Unova. The Elite Four is the same as before, but the champion is now Marlin, Water. New Appaloosa gym leader is Drayton. Okay, interesting. Story has you facing off against Team Plasma in the Johto region. They seem to have made their move there and seem hellbent on getting Hoa and Lugia. Okay. Post-story will end in the White Forest and a Black City, where it is revealed that the new Team Plasma is a front for Giovanni and Team Rocket. Interesting. Why would you mix in Team Rocket there? Now, no new Pokemon, but new forms. White Ho-Oh, Fire. Okay, that seems about, not that crazy. A White Ho-Oh, that's a Fire type. Black Lugia, Psychic. And Pure Kyurem, which is Dragon. You never actually set foot in the Blueberry Academy other than the lobby, all right? Again, I'm very confused here. What did they mean by 2D classic Pokemon? Because it says here, sequel to both Pokemon Gold and Silver, and then Pokemon Black and White 2, first in a series of game. It just literally says series of game. 2D classic Pokemon, the style of Black and White. What? That's so confusing. That doesn't make any sense. Because some of the stuff that they're mentioning here, are they going to make a 2D version of Blueberry Academy? That just makes no sense at all. But again, it says, never step foot in the Blueberry Academy. Then, Pokemon Legends Primax. What? Okay. Early 2025, set in an ancient Paldea. Why would they do a Paldea? The Doleto region, okay? You are from a different timeline. Trouble seems to be arising due to ruined Pokemon appearing all around the region. Ruined Pokemon can terrestrialize into ruined form, where they can resist the normal Pokemon, but weak to terrestrialized Pokemon. Now, Delusion King and Queen look like Sada and Turo. Send you out to figure out what is happening as one of their knights. Actually, I would love if we did get a Pokemon Legends game. Like, listen, I love the concept of Legends games because they could just set us in any sort of time frame within Pokemon and the Pokemon world and let us do a lot of, like, weird and wacky stuff with it, right? Like, am I the only one who thinks it would be pretty cool to be a knight in Pokemon or, like, be, like, like something like base it off of like European medieval times, right? Like, or the Renaissance, or like there's a lot of time frames in history, like the Bronze Age, the medieval times, the Renaissance, the Golden Age. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the Gold Age or whatever. Like it's a lot of stuff you can do, especially with that kind of setting. It's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a lot of time frames you can work with it. You can even make a steampunky old one. You can make like one set in like the early 1800s, right? Or late 1800s. There's a lot of variety that can be done with that. But I like the concept here. I like this idea of potentially having like basically the king and queen being Sada and Turo versions and then sending you out as a knight to fight for them. You have a rival, the prince who looks like Arven. Starters are Trico, Dolition Sceptile, Grass and Dark, Fennekin, a Dolition Delphox, Fire Fairy, and Sobble, a Dolition Inteleon, Water Ghost. Now, I wonder about this name, though, Dolition. I say Dolition, but Duliton? does it have any relation? Because remember, Paldea is kind of like a mixing together several words, like a few different words. Like one of the words is, I think, paella, right? Which is like a famous dish within Spain and within like the Iberian Peninsula, right? Like, I'm just wondering, does this have any relations? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat who's watching right now in the comment section who does actually speak Spanish, Portuguese, any of the languages down in the Iberian Peninsula, if you speak any of them, maybe you can figure it out better than me. I mean, shit, maybe you're even from Gibraltar. Maybe you know better from there. But again, I'd love you guys' thoughts on that because I don't really know what to do with it. But that's not the end of this post. Now, I thought this was the end of it, but actually there is a continuation of it where they continue in saying Pokemon Legends Primax Part 2. Apparently fully open world this time, although different areas are blocked due to needing ride Pokemon. So not really open world, but open world. Okay. Deletion Pharaoh, Steel Flying. Okay, so this is one of those lists of Pokemon that could be in there. Pharaoh hasn't, to be fair though, Pharaoh hasn't got any love, man. Pharaoh has been dropped in the mud. It hasn't got any appreciation. It's about time. All the Pharaoh bros need to come through, man. We need to give it the love and appreciation it deserves. Moving on, though. Saying Deletion Druddigon is a dragon ground type. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Is a dragon ground type. Okay. Wind Disc is a Love Disc evolution. Okay, you know what? Actually, Love Disc does need an evo, man. Love Disc does need an evolution. And I just bumped my camera. But Love Disc does need some love. Okay, it hasn't gotten any love in forever. The next one is Zorshock, which is a Deletion Zebstrika evolution, Electric Rock. Ooh, okay. A Stella Drill, Extra Drill, Divergent evolving from Drill Star, which is a ground psychic type, apparently. That sounds that one just sounds too far-fetched. Sounds like you're saying Keemstar. Other new Pokemon are a Deletion Meryl, Azumarill, Electric Fairy, Krillix and Chillix, Onyx and Steelix, Divergent Water Ice types, Deletion Ekans, Arbok, Poison and Poison Dragon, Deletion Gabite, which is Gabite and Garchomp with Dragon Rock, then a Deletion Cacnea and Cacturn, and Cacmarish, which is a Grass Ghost type, Deletion Wobbuffet, Psychic Fighting, Deletion Ribombee is a Bug Steel, apparently. Now, continuing on, it says that the main story has you hunting down ruined Pokemon. Now, if you don't know the ruined Pokemon, I'm guessing that's like the bad boys that you have to deal with when you're playing, you know, through the game. It's like the Ruinous 4. Like, let's see, let's just search them up. The Ruinous 4 Pokemon. Like, it's these guys. Let me see if I can get a picture of these up for you guys. The Treasures of Ruin, I guess, is the right way to name them. But let's see if we can get them on screen so you guys can see it. Here we go. Let me pop it on screen here so you guys can see the context of what we're talking about. Otherwise, it might seem a little confusing as to what I'm talking about. It's this, basically. It's these guys. So this is the Treasures of Ruin, right? Now, these are specifically Pokemon that, these four, maybe you haven't even caught them, but most likely you have if you've finished Scarlet and Violet. You most likely got your hands on them, but it's by basically talking to, I think, Professor Ryfort. I think you talk to her, and she basically shows you how to get your hands on them and tells you how to go about it. But it's like these four Pokemon. They're clearly based on, like, Chinese, you know, myths and stuff, because their names are Wuxian, Qianpao, Tinglu, and Qiyu, right? So it's like they're all basically, you know, based on that mythology and that, like, kind of like that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, it makes kind of sense that they would, like, have some more potential, you know, hints and connections to future games, because usually they wouldn't add something like this in unless it's a sort of reference to something, which makes me wonder if the next Pokemon region will be based on China. Like, I know they've been expanding a lot into China lately, and I'm just feeling like Generation 10, like, there's only two places I can think of for Generation 10, okay? It's either China or the Netherlands. It's one of those two. I don't know where else they could go. They could maybe do Australia, but this doesn't, there's like no indications to that. The Netherlands makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of references to the Netherlands in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There is the fact that they did the whole Van Gogh, like, you know, like Van Gogh, whatever you want to say, like his name, Van Gogh, I don't know, whatever. They did a whole collaboration with, you know, the museum over there in the Netherlands, which is a whole mayhem. So there's a lot of connections to the Netherlands. I already talked about this in a previous video, and I really want to do a video all about why it might be the Netherlands or China, because those two are the most logical ones to me. China, because it's a massive market, and Pokemon wants that market, and Pokemon already has been pushing into that lately. Like, last 5 years has been a heavy push into the Chinese market. Pokemon Quest, for example, which is, some of you guys may not even remember Pokemon Quest, but it was like a Pokemon Quest, like, let's see, China. Like, if you guys look up Pokemon Quest China, I don't know how to even explain this, but it's basically this game that we used to play. It was actually a really fun game, right? Really fun game, kind of like Minecraft-esque looking. Really fun. There is only one issue with this game. It never got updated in the West. Like, we never got an update for it. We didn't get Gen 2 or Gen 3. We only got Gen 1, right? We only got Generation 1, and we never got to play the rest of the game. I actually enjoyed it. It was a very chill, relaxing, almost like a farming simulator type game. Better than Pokemon Sleep, let me put it like that. But they never updated it. They updated the Chinese version of it, but they never updated the one for our side of things, which is ridiculous to me. And the only way to play this is actually to get a Chinese phone number. It is really impossible for like somebody who's non-Chinese to actually play this, which is ridiculous. But that's kind of like what I'm trying to say is that China makes a lot of sense to me. And the fact that like this person's suggesting like the Ruinous 4, it makes me, you know, the Ruined Legends, right? I say Ruinous 4, but it's like the Ruined, like, you know, what do you actually call them? The Treasures of Ruin, right? Makes me wonder about their existence and if it might be a direct like pointer towards what's next. Again, it's only speculation. Moving on, though, what they do say here is the main story has you hunting down the ruined Pokemon. The Dolian people ask their hero for help, Primax, which is ape normal. What? Primax, okay, but he doesn't. Wait, ape normal. What's that supposed to mean? But it doesn't appear to them. Okay, I guess that's supposed to be like a legendary. I guess, right? Some sort of hero. Only to you to guide you. Okay, the main story of the game will have you hunt down the ruined beasts, Chilix, a Kakmarish, Ribombee, Wobbuffet, and Arbok. I guess that would be similar to how you did it in Legends Arceus, right? And you have to defeat them. After doing so, you will then face off against the Ruined King. Now, the Ruined King is really weird and funny to hear because I think that's a character from League of Legends, actually, the Ruined King. But I digress. Moving on. Feiju, which is a dark type, defeating him will end the game. Post-game, you will hunt down his 4 parts, the Treasures of Ruin, as a side adventure. You can re-merge them together. Okay. So keep in mind, this is not even the end of this rumor, by the way. Like, this is the second part. We still have more to go through, which is the third part. This is the conclusion of this post, which is Pokemon Legends Primax Part 3. The post-game will have you dealing with the Paradox Pokemon that, like you, come from a different world, as you are sent on an expedition into Area 0 looking for Primax. New Paradoxes include the following ones. Iron Fungus, Among Us Steel Poison type. Iron Voice, a Wigglytuff Fairy Flying. Wait. Would they just give it to the same ones we already had? Is a suggestion here that basically the Pokemon we just had alternate versions of would get another alternate version? Because that would be really, really reaching, but let's just read through it and give it a chance. They say Coal Gifter, that seems a Coal Gifter, really? Because of course, Delibird looks like Santa, and you know, if an alternative version, he gives coal because he's mean. Either way, Delibird Ice Rock, Cave Dweller is Hydreigon, Iron Witch is Miss Magius, Iron Engine is Magnezone, Water Steel type, Palm Striker is the Makuhita Fighting Rock. So that would be, what's the regular version of it called? I always forget these names. Like these new names of the Pokemon have not been the best. Like the Paradoxes have really bad names in my opinion. But yeah, either way. Moving on, Palm Striker, and then we have Shadow Shell, which is a Puppetar? Okay, Steel Dark. Iron Crest is a Salamence, Dragon Steel. Wonder Knight is a Gardevoir, Gallade, Psychic Dark type. Stomping Beast is a Suicune, Raikou, Entei, Dragon. Wait, what? Is it a combination of all of them? An Iron Sword is a Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion Psychic version. Okay, Primax will be available once the Pokédex is filled, at which point you face the culprit of the game. Volo, the merchant who gave the king the Treasure of Ruins, knowing they will corrupt the region, hoping to use him against him to get access to Terapagos. Okay, so, I'm gonna be real. It's a really fun post, okay? And this is not even the end of the video, guys. We still have another post to look at from a different person, a different post totally. But it's a really fun post. The idea of a Pokemon Legends game set in Paldea to finish off the Paldean region, to finish off Generation 9, I think that would be sick. I would actually love that. I don't know about you guys, but I am all on board for that train. Like, choo-choo, I'm on board that hype train, okay? I would love that. However, okay? I don't really know about this one, Chief. Like, I don't know. It feels too far-fetched. It feels a little contrived. A lot of the stuff seems a little bit far-fetched, seems a little too fanficky, and a little too, like, just far gone in terms of possibility. The idea of them actually doing paradoxes again for a Legends game to add on top of the existing paradoxes, that seems like, I mean, listen, I know that, like, you can argue that, hey, Charizard got a, like, 2 Mega Evolutions, a Gigantamax form, a regular Dynamax form, and also, like, you know, all this other shit. Like, I get it, you can argue that, but, like, it would be a bit ridiculous if they decided to give, you know, all these Pokemon. Then again, he said Makuhita and not Hariyama, so maybe, I guess, that would be different. And he said, you know, some of the options of Pokemon here are different. Like, Miss Magius isn't really Miss Drevis, right? So it's 2 different Pokemon, technically. But it feels a little bit weird. Like Salamence, for example, Iron Crest. Like, why would he get another one, right, in this case? Again, I don't know. It seems a little bit strange to me. But that's just pretty much the rumor, though. Let's move on to the next one. Again, I want to hear your guys' thoughts and ratings on this one. I'm going to give this one a solid... I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Not on believability, but on, hey, the information is pretty cool, but I'm giving it a lower grading because I don't think it's real. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So let's move on to the final thing for this video, which is going to be this rumor, also from 4chan, but a different one. This one's a bit shorter. It's not as long, not as contrived, but it is an interesting one nonetheless that I thought we'd take a cover and really just quickly look through because, you know what, hey, it has some interesting stuff to say as well. So the first thing about this one, though, is that this one is more about Crystal. So what it says is Pokemon Cryptic Crystal. I like that name, actually. I really like that name. A chibi game developed by Game Freak. Now, every unknown letter placed throughout Johto, unsure if Kanto, each unknown teleports a character to a dungeon challenge. Dungeon challenges have trainers battle and cave puzzles, gold, silver, crystal style. Completing all of them seems to unlock something. The 4 additional Kimono Girls at Echocheek, one of them is a child. Minigame dance sequence with Kimono Girls. Increased wild encounter rates during the nighttime. Wild Pokemon have red eyes and are stronger, don't have red eyes when captured. Okay, so basically, to break this one down simply, Cryptic Crystal, a chibi game by Game Freak, I'm assuming would look something like, in this case, if it is real, I would say this rumor doesn't feel real, but I'm still going to give it a chance. First of all, a chibi game, so what would it look like? BDSP, I'm guessing then? Something like that. Every unknown is placed throughout Johto, so I guess, because I don't get it. Is this supposed to be like a Legends type game or is it supposed to be a regular Crystal remake, right? Because if it's a Crystal remake, cool and all, and I guess why would you look for the unknowns though? I guess it's just to do puzzles, and completing all of them seems to unlock something. 4 additional Kimono Girls at Echocheek City. What purpose do they serve? Are they there to kind of supplement the existence of new evolutions? Like what, Glaceon, you know, Leafeon, Sylveon? Is that it? Like, there is not really, you know, that doesn't make up for 4 of them. The minigame dance sequence with the Kimono Girls, okay, so it's some kind of minigame. Increased wild encounter rates during nighttime. Okay, I don't see why necessarily, but I'll go with it. And then wild Pokemon have red eyes and are stronger. Are they just angry? Like, are they pissed off? Are they alpha Pokemon? Like, again, it doesn't really do much. This one doesn't do much for me. It doesn't say anything interesting or new. It just kind of falls a bit flat, okay? Just falls a little bit flat, in my opinion. That's where I put this one. Again, I love you guys' thoughts and opinions. I like the name, Pokemon Cryptic Crystal, Pokemon, you know, CC. Like, it sounds pretty cool. Like, Cryptic, you know? It's kind of an interesting one, especially when you use the word Cryptic. You can kind of think about, like, oh, if the unknowns are supposed to be for some kind of puzzle. Because that's, like, one of the things I always liked about Johto is the fact that you do have, you know, these puzzles with the unknowns and, like, these little things you can do in, like, the Ruins of Alph or whatever. Like, there is a lot of intrigue there. There's a lot of stuff there that you could actually do with. But I don't know, Chief. I'm going to be real. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this one is necessarily the one, okay? I don't know if this rumor is the one that we should, like, roll with. But I thought we'd cover it nonetheless, though. I think it was worthwhile to bring it up anyways, which I guess pretty much puts it right at that point. I think this one, it is what it is. But to conclude this video up, guys, what I would expect now for the next week is get ready for a potential Nintendo Direct. As I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, a Nintendo Direct does not mean new Pokemon information, but it is always a chance. Most likely, it might just be like a mention of Pokemon and being like, hey, check out the Petrarunt event if you haven't already done it. Like, they already say that kind of stuff. Or they might announce some kind of small Pokemon, like, you know, extra raid in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There might be always, like, some stuff like that, right? There's always a chance for information along those lines. Not that I expect it, okay? I'm going to be frankly honest here with you guys. I don't expect that necessarily, but there's always a chance, okay? Next thing, though, the other thing is obviously the fact that if there's a new Nintendo Direct, there's always a chance that we will be getting some massive news about a new console. And that is big for Pokemon, okay? Here's the thing. Pokemon games never really come out on the current like console that releases in the first year. Pokemon games always come like a year or two later, right? Like if you look at Pokemon, let's say the first Pokemon game on the Switch. Now the Switch came out in 2017, okay? It came out in 2017 of March. I think somewhere in the middle of March or something like that is when the Switch came out. The first Pokemon game on the Switch came out in 2018 in November. Like almost, I mean, it is a year later, but it's a more than a year later, right? Like keep in mind, you had a whole of 2017 pass, and then even half, more than half of that, you know, the following year passing before you actually got your hands on the first Pokemon game. So Pokemon doesn't necessarily always drop their shit as soon as there is a new console, but if there is a new, you know, console announced, this would be a good time to announce it for Nintendo. And if there is a new console, I think we can expect potentially, no guarantees, that maybe not this generation that's coming out, like the next one, not Generation 10, but maybe the generation after that might be on the Switch. There's also a chance that the next generation will be on the next Switch, the Switch 2, right? Or the Switch Pro, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's a chance, of course, that the next Pokemon generation could be on there. There's a chance of it, but there's no guarantee. Okay, that's the number one thing you have to remember. There's no guarantees of that. There's just a chance, but there's no guarantees of that. But if it does come out, I think we're more likely to get Generation 10 on this current console and have a similar thing like we had with Sun and Moon, right? Because remember, Sun and Moon came out on the end of the 3DS's lifespan, right? And came out in like, what, 2016? And then in 2017, when the Switch came out, we still got a new Pokemon game on there, which was Ultra Sun and Moon. And the following year, we got another generation, like, you know, Generation 7 game coming out, which was Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but that was the first one coming out on Switch. So you gotta say like this. If Generation 10 comes out next year, you can kind of expect that the game, the first Switch 2 game, will be part of Generation 10, but it won't be a Generation 10 game. Like, it won't be like the Scarlet Violet, the Sword and Shield, or the Sun and Moon of, like, that generation. Like, that will be Generation 11 and so on and so forth. Again, I'm just speculating, but that's just, like, based on, like, previous knowledge and stuff like that. Nonetheless, though, guys, that's going to be pretty much it for the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to subscribe if you want to. You don't need to, of course. If you don't want to subscribe, doesn't really matter. It's up to you if you don't want to. If you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike. Doesn't really matter either. But thank you all guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.